All right. So I'm recording and grain. Now the grain recording is different. It's not. I can't upload from the grain into YouTube, for instance. So I do need it. But if I don't do these, I can download the recording from Facebook as that option. Then I can have grain do the summary on that recording. So if I do forget to do this, not the end of the world, right? So I have options. I have options, in other words, is what I'm saying.
You're
So
live
good
now?
morning.
Yes.
We are
Good
not
morning.
only, yes,
Yes.
just a correction, just an adjustment there, and an amendment. Well, not really an amendment, but extra
Mm-hmm.
info to add in. We
Yes.
are not only live, but we are also alive.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
So yes.
So we are alive and we are alive,
Alive.
both together.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Good
are
morning,
doing a
everyone.
lives and we are doing our lives.
So many times you just disrupt the whole introduction. Literally. You have done this. But okay, no problem.
Sorry,
Again,
Beena. Sorry.
everyone, and welcome everyone. We are here again, and we are going to do the capital R reading of the chapters of Biella story. And on this story, we are on a really, really interesting and crucial points now, because now the characters are coming into the full light, and they are. We are getting more and more information about them. We are getting to know them actually. So the character, the first impression or the first perspective about the perception about them was not very clear. It was a mystery around them. And that air of mystery, that who is Ursula? Who is
Yeah.
Biella? Who is Comelius? And now they are coming closer, and we can feel them and we can know more about them. They are coming closer. That is something, the real profound and very interesting feeling for me. Those
Yes.
characters which were just in the completely clouded in the air of mystery, now they are coming closer, and we can see them more in light, with more
Oh,
clarity, with more understanding. And just by being themselves, these characters are going to provide us the alternative and the alternate perception, perspective of Nobelia-Living. We can have that by just observing.
yes.
This is
Yes.
the real crux of the story. And
Yes.
I'm so interested in to knowing more about Biella, because for me, Biella is someone I can say that, okay, I might not be able to completely understand her. She's a
Yes.
very
Yes.
different and unusual character. For
Very,
me,
very.
yes,
Go ahead, go ahead.
and they for me, they are all like our the diamond you can see in our Zoom session. You can see that, okay, the diamond we have. It's not because of any vanity or thing, but it is because that diamonds are multifaceted, and everything is about just coming into light and shine. And so for me, all the characters, including Biella and Ursula and everyone, they are all just dimension, and yes, dimension of one multifaceted diamond, one character, one personality. And we might see some resemblance here and there in us or in others, but I feel that, okay, not completely, because I might be like Camellia, I might be like Comelius, I might be like a bit like Ursula, I might be like, okay, I cannot say about Biella, but
Oh, oh.
other people, but it's all just there. It's not being one only. It's a big, huge thing for me to confine someone or myself into one character, because it is completely against the learning and growing. When we are saying that, okay, we are open and keen to learn and grow, how can we define ourselves just in a stagnant one aspect? No,
Exactly.
we are not.
How can we just be some one type of kind of person? No, we've got to be them all.
No more. And this is what we are going to, yes, receive, not learn, but receive from
Yeah.
the characters in the Biella story. So let's get right into the story, and still, please start sharing screen so we can have more.
All right, one moment. I want to comment on what you said. We never discussed this before, so what you shared, it took me a bit by surprise there. It's like, positive surprise. Like, wow, very cool, Beena, very cool. This is a great point you mentioned. In this, that if you look at the three main characters that we have so far, well, I suppose we've got, main. I don't know if you want to take Shah as a main character, but she's not really, even though she is the main character of that chapter. She's not the main character of the story as so far, right? We had an interaction with her, but it was about the machine, and it was more the abstract than about Shah herself a little bit. Nonetheless, we got three main characters, Biella and Ursula and Comelius, at least at this point in the story, right? So Shah's going to come back later on a bit, but at the moment, those three. And of the three, two of them, there's no real description as to about them. Only Ursula is the usual in a story to say this and that, and right, because it was necessary in the story. But with Comelius too, I suppose I give a little bit of information, but with Biella, it's almost nothing. Right? I was purposely did this to not have a description of Biella. I was very deliberate to do this. I want Biella to become known and understood through her behavior, through her sharing. Yes, mainly her behavior. Obviously, what she says is part of her behavior, but how she says, in what way she says, how she interacts. So Biella has, first of all, we know her and we say, wow, okay, she's fresh, she's new, she's eager, she's aware, she's sophisticated, and so on, right? And then come a bit more. But it's still very vague. Like you said, it's open. And the more the story goes on, the more we going to get to know Biella really. But we aren't going to be told how Biella is. We were told how Ursula is. Yes? And that's part of the story. You make up the character and you say, this is the character. Biella
Yes.
is different. Biella is very, very different, because Biella is going to reveal herself, and you, the reader, and not even as a reader, you, the participant that joins, that hangs out, because that's what we're doing. We are there, part of the delegation. We're hanging out with Biella. We're there right with her. We're going to come to know Biella the same way as the delegates are going to come to know her. Yes. We may have a few more tools at our disposal in order to get to know Biella a little better and quicker. But this is the key. Each person is individually going to come to know Biella, the same way we do people in real life. This is very, very important. Now, Comelius is similar, right? I give a little bit, okay, he comes from this intellectual world and all this, right? And you can kind of feel it from but he also demonstrates who he is. And as we go further, we get to see the complexity of Comelius. He is a wonderfully non-stereotypical character, even though he could potentially be lumped into stereotyping. He's already demonstrated that he's not a stereotypical, professor, let's say, whatever, from a a university world, or let's just say in our world, from the university environment. First of all, he's wonderfully perceptive, but also he has that freedom to say, you got to be a child again. So he has understanding and insight, but there's other problems, right? So we see this complexity of Comelius. Comelius is so unreal in some senses, because he says things that blow your mind, and in others, he's utterly and completely real. Yes, in his fragility, in his frailty, in his awareness of himself, awareness of his own nonsense, and awareness of his failure to act. That's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly real. Yes, very
Yes.
real, Comelius. Unbelievable. I was trying to say hello to Norma. Hello, wonderful Norma. Hello, hello, hello. Say again, Beena?
It's a self-honesty, what he is projecting to.
Yes, yes, but it's a
Even
peculiar
in not so,
self-honesty.
yes, even in not so pleasant situation, and also
Right.
being satisfied with what it is. Like, okay,
Yeah.
yes, it
Yeah.
is what it is, but right now this is
Right.
why. So I'm not
But
going to.
there's a failure to act on truths recognized.
Yes.
And that's the realness, because this is not only Comelius, this is many people. This is a major problem in life, that people recognize truth but don't act on it. And this is what I was explaining in one of the other sessions. It's a peculiar mind virus, you might want to call it, that we think the recognition of importance is enough. Then we satisfied. Oh, I've recognized the importance. I'm responsible now. I've done my due diligence. I've been an adult. No, recognizing it, that's not enough. Because of course, when you're irresponsible, when you think of like irresponsible youth or even an irresponsible adult, what makes an irresponsible adult is that they don't recognize what's important. But that's only the half of it. They don't act on the recognition. And that's just as irresponsible. Yes. So we
Yes.
have to really understand this, have to really, really understand this, and be very clear that it's not just the recognition of importance that makes us responsible, but the acting on that importance. Now we
But
can
what?
be fooled. We can be fooled. Say again?
Okay, I have a question that what inhibit us to not act on once we realize and acknowledge that okay, this is what is needed
This
to be
is the
done.
mystery.
Mm.
This is the mystery between Comelius and Ursula, right?
Mm.
I mean, Comelius sees what Ursula is seeing, maybe not quite in as much depth as Ursula, because, well, she saw, but she went into it and she really thought it through and expanded. Now, Comelius, if he had made the same effort, or if he were to, he would come to the same end result as Ursula, right? There's nothing special about Ursula's perception. It's just time and energy and effort. But yet, I mean, he sees enough. It's not that far apart. And you ask this profound question: what is it that causes us not to act when we see importance? Why does Comelius not become an aspirant, and why does Ursula? This is the key question. And it's going to come really, that's what the part coming up next. And then in the next 2-3 chapters, it even goes even deeper and further. It's a big deal, Beena. It's a very big deal. So I don't want to answer your question as much as I want to. I'm not going to, I should say. Yes.
Mm.
Because it needs to stay open. Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand your
Yeah.
point. For me, it
Yeah.
is like okay, every question has inherent right to get a resolution, if not an answer. So
Yeah.
yes, okay, I can hold it, but of course my
Wonderful.
mind is going to keep thinking
Yeah.
about this.
But that's why I want, because I'm keen for you to come to that resolution of this on, just from observation of the story or of your own. That's even better. That's way of impeccability in action. So yes, absolutely. This is a big deal. It's very profound. And also, Beena,
Mm.
the story is going to give insight into the differences between Ursula and Comelius on this particular point. But it's not necessarily going to say why.
Okay,
Because
so
there is an aspect of mystery involved in it.
yes, okay. Lisa made a comment and she says
Oh, hello,
recognizing.
Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Hello, hello, hello,
Hello.
hello, hello.
Sorry, I just forgot to say that. Uh, hello, and recognizing is not enough. Practice and action, okay, is everything. There are many ways and paths this practice and action can take. Sorry, it's scrolling, keep scrolling. Can take within
Hmm.
the awareness of now and with appropriate intent. We can
Yeah,
become trapped into our way being the right way. Hmm.
yeah.
Not always, for all, we must be aware of the trap in this way of thinking. Good mornings. Okay. So I just want to first, I just thank you so much for sharing. Yes, as Lisa,
Oh,
what you are saying. And this is something uh, I have experienced that yes, it must be, this is the way things needs to be, that we all have this right, and of course this freedom, we need to have this freedom to choose our own specific way of doing things. But the mystery
mm,
is when you see the moreness, and when we see that okay, is it available without even trying it, when we say no, I'm going to do something else. It's not about me, my way, or anyone's way, or yours way. Like, you are open for all these things, you are coming here, you are open, you are doing all these things, and of course are many other people. But some people, I have seen that they know that there is a moreness, but they don't try it, and they say, oh, I'm going to pursue my own path. There is no my path, your path, or anyone's path.
mm,
That is all just moreness, and it's all learning and growing for me. Of course, I'm just saying for myself. It can be yours, it can be ourselves, it can be anyone else from wherever. This openness is the first requirement and the first key for that. And again, when we say about deliberate living, how can we not try it and then say, okay, yes, now I'm going to say, no, this is not my thing, I'm not going to do this, and I'm going to follow some other way. Because I tried that. I was being thorough, I was being deliberate. But this is something I have seen and I've experienced that. But sometimes, because maybe, I'm just sharing my understanding. Again, it could be totally wrong. And I have no problem with that. But maybe sometimes, because including myself, we have been saying yes in many inappropriate places and many inappropriate situations and circumstances. We have been saying yes because of all the shoulds we have, and how our minds are conditioned. So then when we start saying no, we just say no, because everything, whatever comes, our minds just assume it as a threat to our freedom. And we immediately say no. What I was doing at that time, and I realized that it's not only about saying no, it's about being aware of how and why I'm saying no. I need to be really thorough about this. Then only
mm.
I can enjoy my freedom. Otherwise, I'm falling from one trap of saying yes, 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 yes all the time to all the nonsense, to saying no, 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 no to everything. Just because of that, okay, I'm practicing this thing. This is what happened. Yes, somewhere in the past with me. And when I say that, and then the realization was that any information, any knowledge, any, okay, I don't like to use the word wisdom, but it sounds very cliche, I don't think, for me.
Mm,
But okay, whatever. Or a moreness again. If it is coming via anyone, I'm just going to take it as directly a message from the universe to me. Whoever is going to deliver, I have nothing to do with that person. The universe is responding just for me, to me. So if it makes sense, good. If it doesn't, okay, something else. But I do try that. This is very, because I maybe it's just my understanding that there is no your path, my path, or any other path. It's just a path of learning and growing. If it has learning and growing, then it's a path. If not, then it's not a path.
exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. It's a big deal.
Yes.
It's a very big deal. It's a very big deal.
As
So
exactly.
wonderful. I love that Lisa's here. Oh, I'm so loving.
Yes. She says the
I just want
tools
to
you
read her
provide.
comments again because I was a bit distracted. So when you read them, I didn't hear them.
Okay.
Lisa says, recognizing is not enough. Yes, exactly. That's the whole point. Like Comelius recognizes, but it's not enough. Practice and action is everything. So not only is doing important, but practice. Yes. You've got to follow up and repeat until you've got it owned, till you own it completely. There are many, many ways and paths, and this practice and action can take within the awareness of now and with appropriate intent. Exactly. We can become trapped into our way being the right way. Absolutely. And this is Ursula's point. It's humbling to realize, even though we've had the right of it, in other words, our way is working, and we think our way is the right way and it's working, even though we may struggle with it, we still think it's the right way, right? You know, your right way that you think is your life thing, or whatever, it involves, well, I don't always know. So but we can still struggle there. But then you suddenly come to realize there's a more right out there. This is profoundly humbling. And that's the point with Ursula, that she was humbled. It's a big, big shift between her and Comelius. He is, but it doesn't really quite sit and work with him entirely. Not always for all, we must be aware of this trap. Exactly. It's individual. It's for me. And this is one thing I repeat regularly here. In the sharing, it is about sharing an alternative paradigm, an option, choices. Nothing here. I will never ever say this is the right choice. It's built into the story, even, in that, the new Nobelia, it's not the whole galaxy is all new nobles. No, it's a part of a greater system. You come there by choice. You don't get born into it. You get there by choice. You want to be there. And they will tell you this is, if you ask what it's all about, you'll say, wow. When they describe it, they'll say, seriously? People want to do this? They go there on purpose? And you say, yeah, well, but that's just how life is. We all have our different likes and wants. You can't say what's right for another. And as a corporation, they actually run public service adverts which say, effort versus reward is an entirely individual decision. No one can tell you how much effort is worth the reward. In other words, no one can tell you what path to walk. You and you alone are the only one who can decide, hey, I want to do this. This is worth the effort to me. If you don't want to do it, then nobody says it's right or wrong. So very, very important point. Yes, Beena.
No, I was just appreciating that what you are doing and what
it's a huge point. It's a huge point.
The tools you share. Okay, yes, okay. You provide are excellent.
Why? So now Lisa makes a big point there, right? And yes, I'm not sharing an ideology in the sense that to say you must follow. No. It's an ideology, which if you want to follow, if not, take whatever you can. But I do share tools which are valuable. And this is the difference. People want to come and tell you how to build your house. Don't tell me how to build my house. Tell me how to use a hammer and a screwdriver and a saw and an electric saw and all the other stuff, right? That's worthwhile to me. But don't confuse the tools with a house building. Yes, I'll show you how to use the tools while I'm building my particular house. But don't assume because I'm showing you how to use the tool that I'm saying you must build a house like this. No. Absolutely not. Discernment. We're applying discernment every single day. This is capital R reading. This is discernment. It happens to be on the story, but we can do it on any story. We did. We read Sher's article. It was fantastic. I'd love to read something from Norma. I'd love to read something from anybody else too. So all you guys got to do is just submit it and say, hey, do capital R reading on this, especially if it's more or less vaguely, roughly. I mean, pretty much everything is connected to the story in some way or another. I don't care what you share with me. I'll find a way to connect it. So yeah, please share your stories and we'll do capital R readings on them. I would love it, or articles or anything. So I love that you're here, Norma. I do. Norma says she's here. Yes, yeah. There's always a more right. Exactly. Moreness. And Lisa continues to say, when we feel perplexed at the choices others seem to make, there must be underlying expectations. Best to have no precisely. Expectations are limiting boxes. And the moment you have an expectation, it's like an extended tunnel, like a ventilation duct, but that's streaming out in front of you or off to the side. that expectations keeps you in that particular duct, and it just kind of, it's a forced path. In other words, no good, no good, no good. We each must do what we do while being aware of our independence of being. Most crucial. Absolutely. This is the key point of independence of being. If you have expectations, how independent are you? What most don't realize with expectations is that an expectation is also a relationship. It's an inadvertent relationship. It's a relationship nonetheless. Yes? Think about that for a second. Beena, where'd you go? Right? An expectation is also a relationship. It's a relationship with the future. It's a relationship with possibility. It's a relationship with probability. It's a relationship with reality. That you've now, in your expectation, you've said, I am relating to this in this particular way, which is what a relationship is, right? It's a connection of a kind. See, so an expectation is a kind of a relationship with a particular angle, a particular path, a particular segment, a particular unfolding. And that's where's your independence going now? Now you have this relationship going, right? And you're somewhat dependent on that expectation, because if it doesn't go the way you want it to, well, then you're unhappy. Yeah. Make sense? Yes, Norma. Norma does. Mom says, yes, she agrees. Very important. It's huge. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very powerful. All right. We're gonna read, Beena, we're gonna read. You were keen. You were keen. We can't live without, yes, we can't live without relationship. No expectations. It is difficult, yes, but we can certainly try to. Yes. So being aware of them and that they are ours, not theirs, is important, precisely. And in this understanding that it's a choice that we're undertaking, and it's a temporary thing, and it's flexible and it's fluid. So I can have expectations, but I can have expectations that are very open. Yes, that are adaptable, that are fluid, flexible, and changeable. Now I'm in a different position. I'm not locked in. So is my expectation really an expectation, or is it simply a perception of probability and likelihood? Very different thing. Yes. I mean, an expectation, yes, you could, technically it's a perception of probability and likelihood. But if I expect it to happen, I raise that probability, because I say, no, it's going to happen, right? So I'm changing it. So it's not truly an accurate way. Yes. An expectation is an imposition of our belief system on the future. That's problematic. Yes. When we just simply are acknowledging, seeing, perceiving, extrapolating, anticipating, I'm simply looking at what is, and yes, things have a flow and a flux, and they're likely going to go this way or that way, right? And I can adapt accordingly, right? It's like I'm surfing, yes? I don't expect the wave to break exactly where I'm sitting. I'm paying attention, right? And I'm anticipating, and I see the waves coming. Oh, the peak is a little bit off to the right. Okay, let me paddle a little bit to the right. All right, there we go. I get in position. Oh, this is a bigger wave. It's going to come a little later, not sooner. Okay. So, it's going to break sooner, not later, I should say. So I have to paddle out a little bit. In other words, I'm adapting. I'm not expecting the wave to break where I want to it. I'm perceiving, I'm anticipating where it's going to break. It's a very different deal. If I expect it to break where I want to break, well, you're not going to surf very much. Every now and then the wave will break where you're sitting, yes, but it's a poor way of surfing. And you're going to get completely dumped and wiped out and bowled over when the wave doesn't break where you want it to, and breaks right on top of you and dumps on you, and that's not fun. Right? So we must try with capital T. Yes.
This is very
yes.
interesting because it's a very
Yes.
nuanced point here, what you are mentioning.
Very,
Different
very, very nuanced. Yes.
probabilities. Yes.
Yeah.
And having awareness of possibilities and probabilities.
Yes. And look what Norma says. It is new, each part, and also path, yes, with no preformed idea. Exactly. We have to perceive things as they are. Expectation is taking our preformed ideas of what we would like it to be and attaching it to something where it doesn't necessarily belong. Yes? So really, we are looking to try and impose our ideas and beliefs onto reality with expectations. You have to be careful. It's a dangerous game. It's a very dangerous game. Yes? Very dangerous.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this nuance and expectation. It's very profound to think of expectation in this way. It is the imposing of a particular relationship and limitation on reality. We don't see it as a limitation because we get what it wants, but you are saying realities, I want it to work in this exact way. And sometimes, all right, that's fine, but that's also arrogant because you are saying, I want it to work the way I think it's going to be good for me. Now, we have to take this with some leeway here because we also, within our circumstances, we have to make the best of it. But we just have to be very careful. Now, we don't fall into the trap of living via expectation. And of course, we don't know how things are going to work and how the universe works. So we very easily are going to get disappointed and upset. And because if we think we know how the world works, well, that's just looking for trouble. So when we have expectations, this is what we're doing. But when we unhook from those and we're a bit free and we start living in attunement, which is in response to the universe, now we've got a whole different ball game going because the sensibility of the universe is what dictates what's going on, not us. Yeah. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Just love you guys. So wonderful. Yes, Norma. Yeah, thank you, Norma. All right. Very cool, very cool, very cool. All right, so we were on this part here last time. Not so, just all right. We were. See, I don't have to say that. I can just say we were. Last time we were here, Beena, on the task and exercises. I shall screen share in a second. Yeah, I was a bit slow. And we did the first one, which is a very deep question. I'll read it again, but we won't get into it. Share a third-person perspective on yourself, commenting on Comelius himself as a character and on his technique, as if you had been there alongside Biella. It was a wonderful exercise. I did it, and that's why it just takes time, so I'm not going to go into it again. It's a very cool exercise. What are the implications of Comelius and Biella's perspective on how to use intuition and get the most out of it? Share what comes up for you in regard to their conversation on this. All right, we'll skip this one because we've spoken about intuition implications quite a bit, and we've sort of dealt with that in an extensive way. I'm keen to read anyway, so I'm just going over these for the purposes of completeness here and not necessarily for doing them. What does Comelius's perspective? I love to say Comelius with apostrophe. It's Comelius's, yes? What does Comelius's perspective on the learning process and the universe and manipulation bring up for you? We discussed that. It's a great point. All right. Since Biella combined repeatbacks and takeaways for convenience and simplicity in the situation, what's the key difference and why does it matter? This is a good question, and I think I shall put this to Beena. What is the difference between repeatbacks and takeaways? Very simple question, really. Well, what are the key differences between the two, Beena?
Yes. I am just eating, so just give me 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll answer for Beena. Let me see. A takeaway is when you say what is for you, and a repeat back is when you say what someone else is saying, but in your own words. Did I do the Biella accent right? Not even
Yes.
close. I mean the Beena, not Biella, Beena. I
Yes,
was trying to sound like Beena, but I failed miserably. Yeah.
So,
And they can, yeah.
okay, take the ways and repeat back. Okay, I missed that question also. Okay.
All
So
right, no
now
worries.
I'm trying to
I
take
answered
it.
on your behalf.
But this
Yeah.
is
I
this
mean,
is
they're really simple. I mean, the names in this case,
feedbacks for me. Okay, yeah,
it's exactly
yes,
that.
yes, that, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that okay.
Well, go
So
ahead. Please,
repeat
please,
back.
please. Yeah.
So I am making sure that whatever my ears were receiving from you, exactly what it was. I'm just
Right, right,
giving you a
right,
receipt for that. That,
right,
okay, I have
right,
received what
right,
you have
right.
been giving you, just to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
that okay, this
Fantastic,
is okay.
fantastic, fantastic.
And then
Let me mute
my
myself. Let me
takeaways
mute myself. One
are
moment.
the same. Okay. And then the takeaway is what I am making out of it. You have given your things like you provided me, like in this case tools, or another way, like okay, if you provided me ingredients to make a recipe, now what I'm going to make out of it is my takeaway. That will be my dish, because I'm eating, so everything is about the analogies and everything is about food and eating and ingredients and recipes.
I was busy shouting over there. I was shouting at Christopher. Well, in a good way. And saying hello to the driver delivering deliveries. So I love them. They're just so nice, you know. They bring joy. They're
Yes.
not just deliver packages, they deliver joy, you know. So, you know, it's just amazing how it doesn't take much, you know, just a bit of appreciation. And suddenly I've got a friend. I got a friend come visit me every day. Well, he doesn't come every day, but when he does the route, they change the drivers all the time. But it's a simple thing, you know. I just don't get this, why people don't extend a bit more. And, you know, the world is so magical. Simple connection, you know, and it's a joy every day when he comes, and joy for him too. So, and then his joy feeds my joy feeds his joy. So I remember to mute today, because normally I shout, hello, you know, hello, whatever. And I'm shouting on Zoom and on the live. It's no good. But yes, we know what you're saying. The repeat backs is a check of ourselves, our own comprehension, our own understanding. And the takeaways is what we're going to do. Yes? Takeaways revolve around what we're going to change. Now you muted, Beena.
I just shared that okay,
Oh,
it is exactly like
why?
you have provided me tools, or in other words, you have provided me ingredients, and I made sure that this is what you have
Yeah.
given to me, and what I'm going to make out of it. That will be my takeaway. Any dish, anything I can make out of it, that is my takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah. Lisa, you said practice. And look at this one coming up here. I love this. This is a fantastic practice. Practice as soon as you have the opportunity, listening to something familiar as if it were completely new to you, and report on what transpired. Can be, you know, customer service. Somebody's calling, say hello, you know, whatever they're saying, you know. I don't understand how this works, or I need to know more about this, or whatever it is, right? But you've heard it a zillion times. Listen to it as if you were hearing it for the very first time. Completely new. And take away every single expectation that you have. Not only about what they're saying and what they're going to say, but expectations of how you are going to respond. This is the key. This is the key expectation. Yes. Remove your expectations of your own behavior. I cannot emphasize enough what a profound tool this is. We're talking about tools, right? So expectations, yes. Typically, when we say we want to unhook from expectations, we are looking at expectations about the behavior of others or how the world works. But we don't think that we have expectations of ourselves. When I listen to customer service, or like when the driver comes, right? in this particular case with this driver, right, Christopher, right, I really unhook my expectations. And like yesterday, I had a marvelous discussion in 5 minutes about sophisticated business strategies, because I have no expectations that, well, he's a driver. What does he know about such stuff? I don't have this with anybody, but I could easily have, right? And that, of course, is going to limit what I can hear from him. I'm open to hearing absolutely anything from him. Nothing that he says is going to surprise me, because I've unhooked this expectation to box and to listen and expect to hear certain things. No, it's a practice that I have to deliberately and consciously implement, because it's a deep habit that we have, because of course it's very convenient to do that, saves time. But it's a very limiting habit, very limiting habit. Yes. You got too much noise there. Oh, what a pity. All right. You need a really good headset, Lisa. If you come yourself, when you come, I think you're coming here to Katnoor also, or just Ian, right? Well, anyway, if you come and then I have a really good headset for you, which I'll be very happy to give to you. It's like a $200 headset. I'm not joking. I'm really serious. Very high quality headset. So actually I have 2 different ones and you can choose, because that will really help you, to have a nice headset, because then it doesn't matter what the noise is. If that means you're going to be here more often, I'll be more than happy to do it, give it to you. Yeah, great joy. All right. So this listening without expectations of how we are going to interpret, respond, what we expect to hear. In other words, not the behavior, not what we expect people to do, but how we going to expect ourselves to respond to what they do. Yeah, my pleasure, Lisa, my pleasure. It'll be a great joy to give this to you. Yeah. I'm going to leverage you. See, every time you put that headset on and you see it, oh, wow, this is the headset for the lives. Brilliant. See, maybe you'll feel a little bit guilty and you'll come more often. I don't know. I'm just teasing a bit, but who knows? I'll be shameless if that's the case. I'll be very happy. I have no qualms at all. All right. Yes, it will have noise cancellation. Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know if it's as good as my one. You see, my one, it cuts everything out. Look, I'm clapping and you can't hear me clapping. It's very noisy in my ear, but you don't hear it. So the expensive headsets, they have very good noise cancellation. Also, well, I'm on the computer. If you use the headset with your phone, then the headset will have noise cancellation. But when you're on Zoom on a computer, you can go into the Zoom settings and you can set the noise cancellation there. Zoom's noise cancellation to be very aggressive, and that will be very helpful. Now, I suspect that may carry over to the phone if you set it, but you can't set it on the phone that I know of or know how to do. So, yeah. You want me to feel guilty? Well, a teeny bit, just so that you come on Zoom more and come on live more. I don't have to Zoom, just come on the lives more. That's all. It's not the serious thing, but hey, if it helps, I'll take it. All right, Beena, will you read, please? Will you read, please? Now. However, though, you're going to have to read with a Comelius voice. And, well, the Biella voice, you've got that done easily. But you're going to have to read with a Comelius voice a little bit, as best you can.
How can I do this? Because
Why not? I read women's voices. That's what I'm saying. You just change it. However you can make it sound slightly different. However you do it. I don't know. You figure it out.
Exactly. Type of thing that will be, because I don't know, maybe I do have a very feminine kind of way.
Yeah.
So-
All right. So let's do a little side digression here, because this is just
Yes.
fun and there's some moreness to this. How you asked the question, how can I do this? All right. So think of attitude and the main attitude in terms of what is Comelius's main kind of attitude and style and vibe as a person. You know,
Hmm.
what is his intent as a person?
This is what we were discussing. For me, the most important thing was a very peculiar self-honesty, which actually just give you a kind of vibe, someone with the with a very erect kind of spine, but also have some tension in his jaw. I don't know.
Wow. Right. But
He's
what
a-
I'm saying is though, let's now we sort of have to do a bit of boxing and labeling but we don't want to be too narrow. So
Yes.
is Comelius a light and airy, cheerful person? You're like a key?
No.
No. Is he a bit somber and say serious and sober?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. So right there, that's all you need for a voice. Yes. You want to take the main distinguishing characteristic and think of that, and then you speak in a sober way, in a serious way, in a thoughtful way. Yeah. And also, as soon as you do that, the nuance is going to come. You can have somebody who's very serious, but who's a very quick speaker, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
like Nora, she's quite serious. I mean, she's playful also, but she talks quickly, right? So he's not he's a slow talker, right? Comelius. You see. So now you just have, if you got, speed and energy, in other words, and intent. What is his intent in the conversation too, right? I mean, his intent is to be thoughtful, to be contributive, right? To be participatory and to contribute, right? So just think of that intent, and then you add the other stuff going on. So try it. So try it with this first sentence there.
Okay. Let me try that. We are doing all sort of experiments here.
But that's why we're here. This is why we're here, to do experiments. It's a great joy. Peter got rid of the tinkling bells at Running Brook, but she has to learn. Wasn't Beena the one who said earlier that this is all about, we can't just be one kind of person?
Exactly.
Isn't this what Beena said
That's why I'm not,
earlier?
that's
I
why
know,
I'm not
I know.
refusing.
I
I
know,
want
I
to
know,
try.
I know. I'm just teasing you a little
Yes.
bit. I know. This
Yes.
is what I love
Exactly.
about you, Beena, that you mean what you say. And that's
Yes.
why I know I can ask you to do this, and that you will make the effort to do so. You game for it. You always game for it. And I love this. This is a big
Yes.
deal, It's a very,
I,
very precious thing.
so I do fail like really completely, absolutely sometimes,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't make any
So what?
difference.
So
The
what?
thing is
Exactly.
about processing and trying to do
Exactly.
this and be in that.
Exactly.
Okay, we do talk about, at least I do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we do talk about other people's perspective and their things, how they're doing things. But when it comes to really try to be themselves, then it's a real thing to just go and try that. And so that is something, okay, I must do this. This is sure. This is the best. Okay, let's, are you busy, sir?
A little bit, but I'm listening.
Okay, okay. Ah, so many possibilities. Comelius was thinking again. There is more. Biella smiled.
Let's hear
Isn't
that.
there?
Let's hear the so many possibilities. So okay, Comelius was thinking again. That's your narrator voice, right? So you got to get into narrator voice, right? Narrators have a particular kind of a style to them, right?
Okay,
They that neutral, right?
okay.
So let's hear the so many possibilities again. Let's hear that again.
Ah, so many possibilities.
Perfect.
Comelius thinking again.
Yeah.
There is more.
Now Comelius, and again, the so many possibilities. That's Comelius's voice. The
Yes,
Comelius was thinking again. That's the narrator voice, which has to be different to Comelius. Yes.
I did.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me hear again. Sorry, it was a bit noisy. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ah, so many possibilities. Comelius was thinking again. There is more. Biella smiled. Isn't there always with the new nobility? Comelius chuckled. I'm coming to see this more and more. Nothing is ever simple.
I
That's
love
why.
this. I love this. This is fantastic. I can hear Comelius in there. I love it. This is great.
Okay. Um, Nothing is ever simple. Well, no, actually, you simplify so much. This is what Comelius is saying again. I just, yes, okay, let me go back to this again. Well, no, actually, you simplify so much. Everything really. You condense it down to its essence. It's that way with the new nobility. Nothing is in isolation. It's always connected. That's why there's always more. You mean, yes? Yes, Biella confirmed. Multi-threaded. That's what we call it, or multi-layering. Everything is already connected. It's not as if we are connecting them. We're simply uncovering those connections, making an effort to be aware of them. When a senior new noble listens to a discussion or story in that way, they are also turning into the abstract of it. Most of our topics and stories deal with the abstract. Okay.
Yeah. I love this. I love this. I love this. This was just great. So now we are talking about this listening with the new ear. And right here is it's actually in the story. I just love this, how it was preemptive, right? And now we come back to it. This is too cool. At least, you know, what Lisa was saying. You see, it's all connecting together. So keep going, keep going. Dave just asked me a question, Beena, so I'm just responding to Dave real quick.
Okay, no problem. No problem. You can
Yeah.
do this. I can open it in my at my end.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great because I gotta
Just
go and
give me a
search for
minute.
something for him.
Yes.
So you know, if I'm
Can you
gonna
tell
go
me the
search,
number
then
of this slide?
14. Yeah, yeah. Well, all right. So yeah.
Okay, but I'm not in an edit mode, so then you have to.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe okay.
Yeah. So just you're gonna have to turn off your local sound or put your local volume low. Otherwise, you're gonna hear the audio. But you can just stop the slide. You can just press the
I can
pause
just do that.
on
So
the player.
just for a
Yeah.
second, you might hear that, and then I will
Ah.
just mute,
Yeah. All
and
right.
then
Yeah. Yeah. Or just press stop on the player there.
okay.
All right. All right. So you
Close.
screen share, Beena. You screen share then and go.
I'm doing
Okay.
now. So, okay.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful.
You can do
Wonderful.
that.
I love you read. This is a great joy. That's a great joy. And this point that we're on, this
Yes.
is a great point. You know, I mean, this is it's a very casual kind of a conversation here between Comelius and Biella. But this is how Biella is. She brings out moreness, not only through her, well, in this case, she's using positive expectation, right? That she expects moreness. I think this is the
Yes.
exception to moreness, right? That we can do this, we can expect moreness, and when we do, we tend to get it, right? It's a type of a cueing, but it's not a cueing of a limitation. It's that cueing that says, "Hey, I want moreness. I want moreness."
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The connection to the abstract can always be refreshed. It's a joyous experience. Re-listening serves as a reminder, refreshing not only our understanding, but our appreciation and memory. Not that we need to remember the point or story, sometimes maybe, but it serves to raise the points involved in our awareness. Over time, with repetition, we come to hold more points simultaneously. A major accomplishment. Biella paused for a second. Now, the connection to the takeaway. Oh, yes, I had nearly forgotten. but I do enjoy the detours. They are so necessary, Comelius said. Yes, it's just how it is. We can't avoid digression. Those extra perspectives are integral to the greater point. When the senior new nobles partake in a discussion or listen to a story in that way, even one they have literally heard 100 times, they do will partake in the takeaway. Biella noticed a slight surprise on the Comelius face.
Will you read that last one again? The timing throughout the meaning a bit.
Okay. When the senior new nobles partake in a discussion or listen to a story in that way, even when they have literally heard 100 times, they too will partake in the takeaway. Biella noticed a slight surprise on Comelius' face.
So that point of the slight surprise, it's a big shift for him. Exactly, expectations
coming from the conditioned mind that, okay, when we have heard the story many times or anything, then it has lost its value. This is the understanding we have. In my personal experience, it is not as profound as, of course, these new nobles have this thing, but I observed that when the first time we read any story or watch any movie, we just follow incidents in the story or in the movie. Okay, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? But when we watch that same movie or we read the same story second time, because we are aware now that what is going to happen, our mind automatically start paying attention to the construction of the story or
Exactly.
the characters.
Exactly.
Okay, so now this is what they were doing. I missed it at the time. So we start paying attention to the characters. And if we do that third time, then we start actually to the construction of the story. That, okay, there was a jump into this. How come these things that just come up? And I did that. It was my personal experience. If you watch or read that fourth time, then you start paying attention to the usage of vocabulary, that how they are using it. And then you see, because that character was completely different to this person. Okay, so now I can put into their background and their upbringing and all these things. And if not, we start saying to like, okay, come on, the writer was writing everything as a layman and so the philosopher in the same vocabulary. This can be true. No, it can't be. So this is how we start paying attention to. And in movies, you start seeing the faults or shortcomings of the editing, or sometimes you just catch the other things. But this is very rare in the first watching. So I think that these people, the new nobles, have this ability to deliberately extract value every single time. So they know that okay, yes, we know the whole thing, okay, but we know the end of it, but we are going to extract more value and see that okay, this time how they are going to be presented and these things. So I think it's a very profound, but of course it requires much of patience and very, very, very limited ego to do this.
Exactly. And unhooking from expectations. What a theme for the day. What a theme for the day, to unhook from expectations. Again, internal, external expectations, expectations of how the world works, expectations of how we read a story.
Yes.
Right. So what you're saying that in this, if we start to listen and hear not expectations but implications. Possibilities, leads, connections, right? Cues, right? In other words, if we don't treat what we are reading as a known quantity, yes, like, okay, I'm reading a story, I'm being told what's going on. Let's throw that idea out the way. Right? This is mostly how we've come to understand the story, right? Storytelling. No. Not for me. Thank you very much. No. Yes, there's a bit of this, but beyond that, there's so much more. If I treat this story as a mystery, one which I've got to figure out, man, now it changes more, right? So what is it that I do need to figure out here in my conception of this, in this capital R reading conception? The mystery is, who is Comelius? Why is Comelius doing this? How does he interact? How does he fit into the story? How does he relate and connect with the characters around him? What is his motivations? What is his psychology? What is his understanding? All mysteries. See? Now I'm reading a mystery. It's a mystery of their psychology, a mystery of intent, a mystery of motivation. I'm figuring out what this would mean, not being told. And this is the magic of storytelling, right? We do this, but we don't do it consciously. We do it to very limited degrees. But when we really get into it, we end up with so much more. And it's not so much that we're just inventing stuff, because in good storytelling, it's there by implication. We just need to put it together, right? And in this case, you get to check your implications. And in this case, the story is very deliberately, consciously written with tons of implications built in. Right? They're very deliberate. So it's not like you just creating something. No, you are, but you're also unraveling the mystery that the writer has created for you. In other words, to me, in good storytelling, you get to access on as much of the bubble of the onion as you wish. Yes? You don't have to
Yes.
unpeel it all, but you can if you want to. I take great joy in unpeeling the onion and going as deep as I possibly can, not just with stories, but with people, with interactions, with relationships, with chat, with your comments that you make in chat, all of it. There's always more. There's always more. Yeah. So, by the way, Beena, we're on TV at the moment. Did you know that?
We are on.
TV.
Wow.
Yeah,
How?
we're on TV. Lisa has cast us to her TV.
Oh, okay. Like I used to do with my family.
Exactly. Oh, Beena would just do this while they're sitting in the living room and she's in her bedroom and the TV's too loud. Every now and then she would cast her whatever's on her computer onto the TV. Of course, not amusing them, but amusing Beena. Yeah. Very
Yes.
naughty, Beena. Very naughty. Yeah.
So then they just come into my room and say, okay, come on, now just stop it. So, and we will keep. So
And they come and scold you and they say, yes,
this
all right, but can you
was been
please
on
put that
TV
TV
many
a little
times.
softer? You're blasting my ears and I can't hear myself talk on Zoom.
So Syl was been on TV many times in my house.
All right. Oh, wow.
Whenever
Interesting.
he's talking, I just cast it on my TV. So okay.
That's wild.
Now
That's wild. That's wild. No, but I like the idea of us being on Lisa's TV there, because
Yes.
Lisa's not the only one who watches. I'm assuming the dogs also watch, right, Lisa? I hope
Oh
so.
yes.
I hope so.
Hello dogs.
So
Okay.
yeah, hello dogs. Yeah. Let's hope so.
Okay.
Let's hope so. All right,
Yes.
wonderful. All right, keep going, Magical Beena. I'm enjoying the story. I'm gonna make us some. Well, I'm gonna make you tea right now, actually.
Thank you.
Lisa and Norma, would you guys like tea as well? I think so.
Norma
I
would
think
love to.
Norma's English, so that's like saying, "Do you want to breathe?" I mean, it's
That's
like,
why I
come
was
on,
like, at
yeah.
least Norma would
So
like have tea.
yeah. But with Lisa, I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, you get to choose, Lisa. You can have coffee, yeah, if you want. Yeah, you're old
Yes.
enough to have
Yeah.
coffee. Well, it's not that late in the day for you yet, but with Norma, it's evening already. So no coffee for you, Norma, but I'll make you some nice tea. All right,
Wonderful.
you carry on. While I do this, you carry on. Ah,
Yes. Okay. Yes, it's a big deal. This sentence right there, Biella just observed Comelius and his surprise. So that's why she's saying that. Yes, it's a big deal. The Attunement is
Oh, that reminds me.
yes.
I'd forgotten the extra degree of difficulty here. It's not just reading with the different voices. You've also got to read the implications.
I'm doing it already.
I know. I'm just saying, I forgot to say that though. Yeah. So
I'm trying to do. At least I'm trying to do.
love it.
Yes, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
sentence actually shows that Biella catch Comelius' surprise.
Yeah.
So she elaborates a bit more. Their takeaway is
Yes.
usually quite
She
different.
noticed, right? In other words, she's paying attention. By
Yes.
implication, she's not just in her own bubble there, she's noticing. And because
Yes.
I think it was a slight surprise that Camellia said, yes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and
So
and
subtle.
by saying yes, Biala is making sure that she is aware of what Comelius is feeling surprise of. So
Yeah,
and she observed and she noticed actually, yes,
yeah,
noticed the surprise. So
yeah.
because again, implication, if he is surprised by this, it means that he has very limited awareness about how new nobles are and what is the difference between the new nobles and the
Yes, yes.
old
But
world.
even yes, even more importantly, he's surprised at the particular thing that he is surprised at. It
Yes,
reveals an expectation from him.
yes,
Senior new nobles, they behave in a particular way. He has an
yes,
expectation. His surprise reveals that the expectation is now not being met. And now, of course, in this, it opens up a door for Biella to explain the difference, right?
I hope you
And
have a
she
glass
can
this time.
say again.
I hope you have a glass this time.
Oh, this is not for me. This is not for me.
Okay.
No, 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 no. Thank you though. And this is for the this is for the humidifier here next to me. So this
Okay,
is for my
because it's a big bottle. So I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. No, no. This is not for me. I was teasing yesterday. I was being a hooligan. I had some apple juice left in a bottle like this, and I was drinking it straight from the bottle. So I said, I'm being a hooligan. But I went off screen like this, and I was drinking right here. You see, so you didn't see me do it, but but yeah, I was showing the bottle this time. I didn't notice that it was showing. Very observant, being a very observant. Um, very funny too. Most amusing. Anyway, Biella by this time is acutely aware that Comelius has ideas and expectations of how things work, and not in a negative way. I mean, it's we can't really live without assumptions completely, but he does tend to hold on to them a little bit more than what is appropriate. Yeah, so not so, but in other words, in this case, she gets an opportunity to uh, to to deal with those expectations and those limitations of perception, which is very restricting and restrictive for Comelius. Yeah. Now, I think in this story here, as you're going to see, Comelius gets a bit much, but we'll see. We'll see what happens to him. He gets a bit more than he can deal with. It's very interesting. I'll just give a clue. Camillus experiences worldview collapse. I don't think that gives the story away, but I think it actually adds to it, right? That
I
we're
can
going to
say
see.
that I was like a Comelius. So
Correct,
at some point,
correct,
so this was
correct.
I
Almost everybody who's come to Way of
like
Impeccability at some point
so there are some
has had that.
expectations, and of course, because we
Exactly,
never heard or never experienced anything like
exactly,
this, so it was a
exactly.
surprise, and it was like, okay, what now? What they're doing, and like, okay, how this could be fun, and all these things. So I can relate to that. That okay, yes,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like this. So
yeah,
first time I'm saying that. Okay, I am
yeah,
relating to someone in this story. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Norma said yes, please to the T. Norma, it's a simple thing to me, but just that saying yes, please, it makes a big difference to me. It gives me great joy inside. It's very simple, but yes, in other words, things don't always have to be real to give us real benefit and real effect. Yes. It's just amazing. It just amazes me how big a deal this is. I just, if you were here, I can't have my own coffee without offering you, obviously. But I feel the same way, even if you're not here, because to me, you are here to me. We are in an interaction. We are in a community. So, yeah,
Don't we enjoy the beauty of Taj Mahal even when we are not there or we never
exactly.
actually touch that? So how can we appreciate the beauty? Same as that, okay, it's all about intent, it's all about our own understanding and awareness. So
Exactly.
when someone from like really really far away, but it's still they are with you and they're sharing their special
Yeah.
moments, they're
Yeah.
sharing their care and love, like all my friends. That is
Yeah.
what actually really matters. This is
It's
what
huge. It's
actually we
huge.
need. That's it. Otherwise,
Uh,
people living in the same premises, they hardly never ever know each other. So, okay.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yes. It's a big deal. The takeaway is usually quite different. The takeaway is not just about the point or points themselves, but what each individual has obtained from the experience of being there. Not only what they learn and take with them, but also what they have become connected to. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
read this again. But what each individual has obtained from the experience of being there. Not only what they learn and take with them, but also what they have become connected to.
Yes. So, well, you elaborate. You elaborate. You elaborate. I mean, I
Okay.
don't always just
Yes,
been saying the obvious.
the second time when I was reading that, okay, it was the first time I read, oh my God, what? Okay, and but the second time when I was reading that, I realized that this is exactly what happens. So,
Yeah.
but of course, they are new novels, so they do this deliberately,
Yeah.
impeccably, of course. But for us, it happens, but we hardly ever pay attention to this. So the
Right.
point is that, okay, yes, this is when you were asking that, okay, what is the takeaway and what is the repeat back? I just shared that because I was reading and I said, okay, you are
Yeah.
providing me tools, making sure I'm giving you a receipt that, okay, yes, this is what you were sharing with me and this is what I have received. That's it. Now that thing is done. Now what I'm going to do with all those ingredients, I'm going to make my own dish. That's my takeaway. So
There
this
you
is
go.
so it can be anything. So of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
the ingredients you have provided and you share, and I gave a receipt for that, that, okay, yes, I have received all those ingredients. Now I'm going to make my own dish. And then, of course, I'm going to share with you. But what they are saying that here is of course, another dimension of it, a different level
Exactly.
of,
Wormhole listening.
yes. Sorry?
Wormhole listening. I'll explain in a moment. Keep going.
Okay. Okay. So what they are saying here, also what they have become connected to. This is the next level thing right now, right there. That yes, okay, I understand, I become more aware, but who I am, who I become after that. Of course, every perspective, every new perspective, every single time when we do something profound deliberately, we change, we transform in those moments. So, and how who we become, and then we become connected with a new perspective, a completely different realm in every situation. Of course, it can be subtle, like in a mundane life or anything, but it doesn't matter. The transformation happens within me, for me. This is the real thing. So this
Exactly.
is so
Exactly.
good. So what they are doing is every single time when they hear the same story, but get a new perspective or a different or an alternative perspective, they become something other than who they are. And they
Yeah.
connect with.
Exactly. They change every time. And here's the thing, right? If I hear something, especially something that is a profound thing or a big deal thing, like as in the tools we were talking about, or a point of understanding, a point of awareness, a point of insight, a point of discernment. When I hear that, it impacts me relative to who I am in that moment, correct?
Yes.
If
Yes.
I change and I hear the same point, it impacts me differently because I've changed.
Exactly. Exactly.
And this is the difference with the new nobles, right? I mean, she's pointing out to the senior new nobles for the purposes of illustration for Comelius, but really it's all of them, right? Because they change. Of course, you've got to listen to it from your new self now, your new awareness, your new understanding, which is a very different thing. And sometimes you'll hear the same thing and it has an entirely different meaning, connectivity, understanding, etc. to you. It's a profound thing. It's a
So not
profound thing to
only
unhook from the expectation that the same thing is going to be heard and mean the same thing to you. It's a profound thing. Profound.
yes. Wow.
Yes, wow. Massive, 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 massive.
This is very interesting because uh, we have been trained to keep repeating the things with the exactly same thing and memorize them, and then say that this is my excellence, this is my skill, this is from our education system to in our daily life. Because what parents actually do, they try to teach you routines, some really making it into your habits. We hardly get anything like, if you will do this deliberately, then it will be different. Okay, like that. But everything we try to, the whole society and the cultural thing is that geared towards to make things habitual.
Right.
Once things
Right.
becomes habitual, we don't pay attention to. And when we don't pay attention to, we don't expect anything new from those things because it's a habit, it's a program we are doing.
Exactly.
Our whole life is designed in that way to create
Yeah.
habits and follow those habits and then become habitual to them.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
so it is beyond our understanding that things can be different every single time because we are
Exactly.
so attuned to habits.
Exactly.
That is something very
Exactly.
interesting right away when you were sharing all those things. And I realized that look at our whole life. We
Yeah.
are so attuned with that. So
Right.
attuned with that.
Right.
We give
And let's go
ambition,
deeper.
are going to
Okay,
give
good.
same results.
Right. And now let me ask you, Beena, do you think that most people want to encounter new things in their lives?
Yes.
You think so? Really? Wow. Norma,
Yes.
Lisa, what do you guys think?
No, then what else? There is no other way, of
All right,
course.
all right, all right. Think about people in relationships, parents, children, right? Do they really want to have a new child every single day, multiple times during the day? No, they want that same expectation of habits and behaviors. You can occasionally come up with new stuff, yes. Occasional newness is not the same as wanting newness on a regular basis. What I'm saying is that for most people, they don't like newness. They don't want newness. It's a stress and a bother to them.
But
They don't. They can't handle it. They can't deal with it. They don't like it.
I think that, it's not about newness. It's about the negativeness. That, yes, if you just
Oh,
want to get out of there again, actually it collapsed. My perspective collapsed on expectations again. So what I was saying that, they are expecting you to be nice and appropriate. So again, expectations, what is nice and appropriate for them, you need to
oh,
live in that criteria. Okay, so yes, you're right. So my perspective
exactly. And when I'm
collapsed
saying new,
itself.
let me change that word. Let me change that word new with different. If I'd asked the question, do people really want different? You would have said, no, not really. They like things to stay the same. Well, if they like them to stay the same, they don't really like new. Yes, they like new clothing and that, but that's not really new. Yes, it's not like capital N new. Yes. It's still the same stuff, right? Yes. See what I mean by them not liking new? I mean, I said new in the context because you were using the word, but it's really different, right? They don't want different. They want things to be cozy and stay the same because they don't have the confidence and the independence of being to truly deal with true newness. Yes.
I might not be able to elucidate it really well, what I'm going to share, but it is so pressing,
Please.
so I'm going to share.
Please.
Isn't it the same thing when we try something like really our favorite food, like an ice cream? By repetition, we want to live those moments actually, like a scoop or a spoon after spoon after spoon. We just want to stay in those moments of the first time when we get that sensation in our mouth. Otherwise, it is actually your palate, your thing get numb after 3 or 4 thing, and then all you get is just that you are feeling in yourself. But we want to stay in those feelings, and we want to just connect to that feeling, and that's the repetition. So the newness actually is very difficult to explain that okay, we want different or we want new, because
Yeah.
we stay in that particular feeling, not new or not different. Okay, wow. Because I
Oh.
was just paying attention. It's a part of that what I was thinking and writing about, that how we enjoy things. So mostly it is just a one-time thing. After that, it's just an attempt to try to maintain those feelings. This is the first sensation in our taste buds. That's it. You got it at first time. You got it. But because we don't enjoy that, we want to just make it long as we can. We want to just keep it continue. But actually, it didn't happen. It never happens. So you the first bite, everything you got, that the newness, and everything else is just a habit. It's an attempt to stay in this thing. So okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
To
will
maintain.
come back
To
again.
maintain. Yeah.
It is not very clear what I'm trying to say, but I will
Yeah.
come back to it at some point, and then I will share it what I'm trying to say, because it is
Yes. When
becoming.
you've had more time to go through it all the way. I love that.
Yes,
I
because
love that.
it
I
is a
love that.
big, huge topic of maintenance in my life right now.
Yes.
Because I assume that
Yes.
okay, 95% more
Yes.
than
Yes. Yes.
less. It's
And
about me.
on
Yes.
you mentioned something very important. Very important. See?
What is ice cream? Okay.
Ice cream. Ice cream. Yes.
You scream. We all scream for ice cream.
That's right. That's right. But in this case, your screams won't be heard. Sorry.
Yes.
Tough luck. Tough luck on the ice cream. I'm happy to make you coffee and tea, but ice cream, well, you have to be here to share it. Sorry. Ice cream, I'm a bit stingy with my ice cream.
Yesterday, I had ice cream in my fridge, the
Oh,
Oreo and the chocolate flavor. It was very, very yum. But
brilliant. Brilliant.
but
Did you say the
not.
Urdu flavor?
No, I said Oreo.
Oh, Oreo. I thought you said Urdu flavor. I'm like, hello, what's Urdu flavor?
We have an ice cream in Urdu flavor which is called kulfi.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It is full of nuts and a different form of cheese which is called koya. It's made of that. It's a textured and made with very thick milk.
Yeah.
Like we actually
Wow.
thicken the milk for cooking it.
Wow.
The
Wow.
color changed to almost like a golden color, and then
Wow.
we put the roasted nuts into, like roasted almonds and pistachio, and then cook it. So it's a
Dang.
different. Yes, so it's an Urdu ice cream
Dang.
also.
Wow. Wow. All I'm thinking is, isn't it wonderful to hear that there are weirdos elsewhere in the world? Doesn't that make you just feel a bit more comfortable with your own weirdo-ness? Lisa, Norma, right? You're hearing about this weird, wonderful, wild ice cream from Norma here. It's like, man, weird stuff. Like, holy moly, what do people do in
Yeah.
that part of the world there? What's wrong with them? But anyway, it makes me feel a bit more comfortable with my own weirdness. So I'm very happy. Very happy.
But you cannot
So you
be
can, yeah.
judgmental about anything you haven't tasted yet. So no.
Well, I can try.
Yes.
When it comes to food, I'm very judgmental about things that I haven't tasted. If it doesn't look
Exactly.
right, if it doesn't smell right, if it doesn't sound right, nope, sorry, I aren't eating it.
I'm very judgmental about
Yeah,
food.
I'm ridiculously judgmental when it comes to food. But anyway, we digress. But it's fun. It's fun to digress. It's fun. It's
Yes.
fun. It's
Yes.
fun. I am keen to know, though, about if that sounded weird to everybody else. Wormhole listening, Norma says. Yes. So the new nobles, they practice
Thank you,
wormhole
Norma.
listening. Yeah, thank you, Norma. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yes, thank you. So when you think of this, that Beena said, like when they just they said something about dimensions, but because they're
Yes.
listening with a connectivity and without expectations, when something comes at them, it may open up a wormhole in their perception, in their understanding, in their awareness, and they can travel through that with their awareness and their understanding, their perceptions, and arrive at some new place, right? Because that's the magic of wormholes. You open, you don't know where they're going to end up, right? I mean,
Hmm.
unless it's a stable wormhole and you've already gone through there multiple times. But typically a wormhole, you have no idea where it's going if the first time, where the other end is, right? So this is that why they listen in the way that they do, because it does take them to places they've never been before. And it's that letting go of the expectations of ourselves in what we are going to hear. Not what's being said, but what we're going to hear. When we let go of those expectations, we suddenly say, well, I'm going to have the same input maybe, but it's going to create a wormhole. Okay. How do I know where it's going to lead? To lead somewhere new. And it's fantastic. It's a fantastic way of listening to things. Yeah. Wormhole listening. Make sense? Norma? Make sense?
Oh, it makes sense. But Norma, I didn't say anything about ice cream and garlic together. No. Who
You
heard
get it?
this?
I have been to the garlic festival in Gilroy, the garlic capital of the world.
Yes.
No, very big deal. That's what they call themselves. It's very official, right?
Yes.
And this garlic festival in Gilroy, California, you can go look it up. It's a really big deal. It's a huge deal. Well,
Yes.
obviously, it's a garlic growing area, right?
Yes.
And most of these towns in California, if they have carrot festival, garlic festival, anyway. But the garlic festival in Gilroy is particularly well known, actually. It's like a really big deal. And one of the features of the garlic festival is garlic ice cream.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a thing. It's a
I
thing.
saw
It's a thing.
someone try to make this in MasterChef Australia, I guess.
Mm, mm.
Some woman tried to make that, and it just failed big time. It didn't go really well. So, but no, not in Pakistan or India. The garlic ice cream is not. No, 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 no. I was saying about nuts, roasted and of
Oh,
like
oh, oh. Oh,
uh,
the roasted, maybe that's where the garlic, usually roasted garlic and that. So, yeah,
no, no, it's
yeah.
roasted almonds,
Yeah.
and some pistachios, and kaju, okay, which you guys call it cashew nut. Uh, these nuts actually, we made kulfi, and kulfi is also made with mangoes, because
Wow.
Asian mangoes, especially Pakistani mangoes, are heavily treated. I'm not saying because I'm Pakistani, no. This is what it is.
Wow.
But so yes, kulfi is different. You are vegan, and you of course we can have vegan kulfi also, Mama.
Yes.
It's almost
Yes.
exactly as same as non-vegan one.
It's a vegan thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. 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 And Manoma says, every morning look for the new. Yesterday's gone. Fresh new day. Not just a fresh new day from the new nobility perspective, Norma. They say we start a new life every day. Every day starts a new life. This is wormhole thinking once again. When you go through that wormhole, be ready to start a new life. You have no idea if you're going to be able to come back or not. Be ready. Yeah. We just wake up to the same world every day. But what if you wake up one day and the world isn't the same? Then what?
Yes, and also they say that every single morning when we open our eyes in this world, there is a surety of the renewal of our contract, that universe is trusting in
Yeah,
us more than what we do with ourselves.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's
Right.
a renewal of contract every single morning. And I think that okay, we can actually take it more further, that every single breath If you are taking a breath, it's a sign that you are having chances and universe is trusting you. So, and it's a new fresh start. Yes, it is hard to grasp this because it passes very quickly. So the day is at least a bit much longer time, so we can think about it, we can do perspective shifting. But when people like in this story, new nobles, the senior new nobles, okay,
Yeah.
or I would say that okay, more new nobles because they are more already. So okay, more new nobles. They what they are doing, they might be able to actually live as freshly as newly in every single breath.
Right.
So I think that okay, yes, they might have this thing. Some gurus and some maharishis and Sufiyas, they say that when they call it nafs in Sufism, and that nafs is every single breath. That's why it is very um, uh, profoundly defined and explained and discussed in Sufism, the breathing, because they say that okay, this has to be your parameter, this has to be your basic
Yeah.
foundation for the
Yeah.
transformation. So okay, it's a big, huge topic, but they do have, and same with the Hindu Sufism, I could say that okay, they also have the same thing. They also this emphasis on breath. So what the new nobles might having, they are people, they might be the people who already achieve that awareness, that ability to do the perspective shifting and acquiring new perspective in with new every single breath. They might
Exactly.
have that.
Oh yeah, they make a big effort to practice this. That's why they say starting a new day starts a new life, right? Every morning.
Yes.
Now, when we take
Classes.
expectations and we
Yes.
get into new nobility spirituality, right?
Yes.
And I think at some point Biella mentions fluid reality. I believe so. Um, in this context of fluid reality, they say, well, if our reality is fluid and we are the ones who are shaping that reality with our internal dialogue, with our expectations, our anticipations, our beliefs, our thoughts, our ideas, our conceptuality, it is absolutely within that realm and even within the physics realm that should that radically change for whatever reason. And much of the mystics will say, those aforementioned ones will say, if you stop your internal dialogue, you're going to stop the world. In other words, you're going to collapse this reality, and you're going to see energy directly, which is the whole point of Zen. They call it enlightenment. They don't quite realize what they're saying, but okay, I don't want to, that makes me sound very arrogant. But in their language, they assume enlightenment. At least when you stop the world, when you see energy directly, they assume this means that you suddenly become wise, which is what enlightened means. No, it doesn't. You're just perceiving energy directly. It's like you're just in a different reality. You have to learn that language and that perception. There are some advantages when you're perceiving energy directly because you can tap into the intent of things. And if you know the intent of thing, well, then you've got wisdom right there. Yeah?
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is a connectivity to it, but it's not such a direct one-on-one connectivity. But nonetheless, the point is that it doesn't necessarily take much for you to end up in a different world. As people who've undergone starvation, for instance, or some sensory deprivation or something, right? Their worlds change. You take a drug accidentally, deliberately, either way, your world can change. So this being ready for profound world change, in other words, to expect the unexpected, it's part of new nobility thinking and training and spirituality and impeccability. Yes, makes sense?
Yes. Uh, Norma says we just have to trust in the universe. Yes, exactly, Norma.
Precisely.
I,
Now,
I think that we don't have any other way other than just trusting the universe. Kind of
we
like,
do.
okay,
We
yes,
do, but we
okay,
don't.
okay,
Hmm.
okay. And
So,
Lisa says, okay, yes, you want to
go
share?
ahead. Go ahead. I'll come back to the point. Go ahead. You read all the
Lisa says,
comments.
the world is different every single moment in the
Exactly.
scientific sense of that
Exactly.
place.
Exactly. And in a mourners phase, just think of how different, like we spoke about this yesterday. You wake up in a bad mood and the world sucks and the world is a terrible place. And if we take you and put you on the lie detector and we ask you, what do you think the world is? You say the world's a terrible place. Is that your perception, your reality? Yes, and it's true. And the lie detector, yes, truth. They're telling the truth. To them, the world sucks right now. It's a horrible place. Tomorrow, you wake up in a brilliant mood and we again take you to the lie detector. And we say, what's the world like? Oh, the world's a fantastic place. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. It's magical. Check. The lie detector says truth. One day difference and the world suddenly has changed completely. Everybody else in the world didn't notice any change whatsoever, but you has changed. So the point yesterday was that emotions affect our perception of reality. And the whether reality actually has changed or not, it doesn't matter. The effect on us is as if it had changed, right? So our moods change our connection to reality in a very real way. But likewise, this point that we're mentioning now, right? So when we walk around with different expectations, suddenly we start cueing different things, and suddenly we're also in a different world. Like when I go to government agencies, I have a very different experience than what most people do. It's not an unpleasant or a negative experience for me. I mean, the drivers will tell you too. The one driver mentioned he brought a trainee with him, and he said, "Oh, this is Syl. He's actually a nice person, nice customer." He had to say it specifically to the trainee, and nothing to do with me, but he mentioned it because it's exceptional. And he's, I said, "What do you mean?" Like, I asked a little bit more, but I assumed I understood what he meant, but I always like to check my assumptions. He said, "Yeah, most people are horrible to us. They treat us like rubbish and dirt." See, different worlds, different worlds. I'm just saying, it's amazing. But my interaction with that driver is obviously very different to his interaction with other customers. Yeah, different world, different perception, different expectations. It's a profound
Yes,
thing. We can really change the world through our relationship to it, our
yes.
perceptions. It's a
So Lisa,
very, very, very big deal.
every
Oh,
moment, a new pattern, a new snowflake is formed. Never,
yes,
ever do the same. Yes.
it's incredible. It's incredible. Yes.
And then she says,
Yeah.
energetically, scientifically speaking.
Yes.
Yes. And Norma says, Lisa, I think, okay. Yes, I think so too. Sunsets. Wonder if there has ever been one the same. Never.
Yes. Never. Never.
Never. Fluid
Yeah.
reality, dry fluidity. Oh yes, okay. I like this. This dry fluidity. Oh, this is at least I can say that this is my term.
Yes.
For my chalk crystals colors. So
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Fluid, not as in liquid, but fluid as in changeability. Yes. Dynamic. Yeah.
And Lisa says never ever. Okay. Lisa says, stop the word. Time stands still, where everything happens all at once. Some quantum scientists say that every second is a new timeline. Exactly.
Exactly.
That makes total
Exactly.
sense. That makes total sense.
Not just every second, but each moment. In other words, a moment is the smallest quantum of time. So
Mhm.
a moment is less than a second, but yes, they just use second for convenience, but each moment technically, right? Um,
Correct.
Also on this point of time, right? I like thinking things through to the end, and one of the things that I really made an effort to think through to the end was time. Yeah. So let me back up. Take out that so there wasn't necessary. I'm trying to get rid of so in my language, by the way. So please recognize when I say so and tell me so, then I won't say so. All right.
He's trying to get out of his system as many as so he can because he's using a lot now.
Yeah. All right. When it
Regardless,
comes to right, when it comes to time, it's a very magical thing. My conclusions of thinking through time to the end, and I can't really ever say I've encountered this understanding, this capital U understanding of time. For me, time is perception of change. If
come
we
on,
were
like you give me something
think
so
about it,
huge to think about it.
think about it. If you were unable to perceive any change whatsoever, none, zero change, right? Would that not mean that the time had stopped? There was no time.
Come on, Syl.
What? What? What's wrong? What
Like
happened?
no, it's not wrong, nothing wrong. It is. Oh my God! Like
It's a profound perception. I think it's a big deal to me. It's a major understanding that our perception of time is simply perception of change. Right? So when I look at a rock, I don't see it changing. Yeah, but it is. It's slowly over time, the molecules are going there.
it is
So
minute to our eyes, to our observation, but it is a change.
precisely, right,
So
right. But from the universe's point of view, yes, I change, I die, my molecules, this, and they become something else. But on that huge scale, things are letting go and changing. From the universal perspective, there's no change. Everything stays the same. The amount of energy in the universe doesn't ever change. It's always the same. So where's the time? See, it's an artificial construct. It's fantastic. Yeah. I stopped Beena's world. Yes. Yes, Lisa. Yes. Yes. It's a wonderful definition of time because I really thought about it. How do we know that there is time? It's only because we are able to observe change. And of course, time is a really rate of change. Yes. Or at least our perception of time. And when time goes quickly, things are changing quickly. Time itself, it's going in the same speed, right? But this is just a perceptual issue. So it's a very great idea, this, when we can really understand this. Yeah. Anyway, that's a fun thing. Just quantum thinking again, see, or wormhole thinking again. Yeah. Different. Again, it's all, to me, it's not like I'm some bright spark. No, all I did was just make the effort. I just persisted and kept going and know this, know that, and you just keep, and in the end, that's all that's left, really.
don't say this, that okay, in a derogatory way, that okay, I got a bright spot.
Well, I don't mean, I'm simply not saying, I don't want to, make it sound like I'm sharing my thing and it sounds like I'm some bright spark. I'm just being humble in a sense here, right? Because I really don't think that this came as some point of genius, or it's not as a result of some complicated calculations. It's a result of simply pedestrian thinking. Keeping going, keeping going, keeping going, keeping going, and getting there. Anybody can do it. That's the why I mentioned the point, Beena.
When they say that okay, in nations' life or in countries' life, uh, centuries are just like years.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
it's okay because on a
Yeah.
collective level, on a collective
Yeah.
basis.
That's why the United States is like a 4-year-old.
Yes.
Sorry. But yes.
This is actually okay. It makes sense that on collective basis, because the change is different on an abstract level, and change is different on a very local, immediate local level. So the perception of time has changed. Okay, so now it all makes sense now. It is connected now. Wow.
Yeah. So time is a perception, not a reality. This is another understanding. All right. So another way of looking at time is, like I said before, if you take like something like of my hands here, right, and you make it into a structure, like I had a little, like a round ball, but it has holes in it. Yes. and we have a light inside there, the light of awareness that's going through, and we project that. We can have shadows. Now you can actually see diagrams. You can go look this up, 4D, 3D reality, and you'll see pictures of this. And you see those shadows are the 3D world coming out of that 4D perception. But if you take that same basket, and I don't always mention this, but if you take that same basket and you open it and you lay it down, you get the 3D world, because there's 3D on the inside of this, right? Little buildings and things, whatever, right? So when you take the flat, our typical reality perception, and you roll it up into a ball the other way, like the Earth, yeah, you now, time is you see, it's as linear, and time is going on in a line like this. But if you wrap it up into a ball like that, now time is bouncing around inside you. It's instantaneous. And that's why they say time doesn't exist, because everything is actually coexisting already. Future, past, it's all there. Every single possibility already exists. In time, in context, in space, it already exists. But because it's very hard to perceive that time like that, we flatten it out and make it linear for convenience. Yeah. Our consciousness, our awareness does this for convenience, because we need to learn slowly. You need to acquire the things one at a time to make them your own. If you get it all at one go, it's too much. You don't know what, you can't do anything with it. You just end up with it like we have it now in our subconscious. It's all there. We know it, but we can't really use it because we don't know it consciously. So we spread time out in a linear fashion so that we can consciously acquire our awarenesses and our skills. Then once we've learned how to think in the abstract, we've learned how to conceptualize, then we can go and deal with it simultaneously. Very fun. Yes. Lisa says, I love this. I love this. I love this. Yes, just to go back to Norma's comment. I want to come to your comment in a second. Norma said, but we all have different pictures of everything, but there's only one oneness. Yes, I added an extra one there, Norma. Yes, absolutely. Lifetime. And Norma says wine time. What are you going to have, Norma? What kind of wine? I think a sherry right now wouldn't be bad, right? Wouldn't that be good? Good time for a sherry? I think so. I think so. And I love this, what Lisa says here. Beena, listen to this. Our 3D Earth experience is the literal time of our lives. Yes, no, yes. Yes, Lisa. Yes, yes. I love that. Oh, for me, no, Lisa, don't say that, please. Don't say that. Unless it's the dogs that are whining because they're hungry for food. All right, then I can understand. Lisa cooks these huge, great big meals, but not for herself. It's not like Norma's this massive glutton, although she might be. I don't know. I've never known that side of Lisa. It's possible. I don't think so. Anyway, but the dogs, of course, she cooks this great big meal for the dogs, and they eat some. So she cooks for a whole multitude. Yeah, she's got a whole little dog family over there. So I'm assuming that's what you meant by wine time. Is it meal time now, and they wine for their food? Yes. Very funny though. Very funny though. That's limo humor. That's limo humor. All right. BMO. We'll call you BMO for a second. BE-Mo. Yeah. Now we got Limo, Lisa Moreness. Well, it actually comes from something else, but it doesn't matter. And we'll have BMO, and then we'll have Normo. Yes. Yeah. Or Nomo. No more. Enough. Thank you.
My niece, she called me Meena. Instead of
Meena.
Beena, she called me Meena.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Interesting. Truly, Beena, I'm very keen still for Amy to come on Zoom while we're doing the
She
live
says
so
that,
that
and
everybody can meet her.
she said an excuse also, but then
Yeah, I know.
because of
I
each,
know.
she got so busy, and she says that I really want to come, and okay,
Yeah,
she will come.
yeah. And then Dushka either, because I want like Lisa and Norma to meet them. Just lovely people, It's just a joy.
I don't
Just
know,
a joy. Yeah,
but Amy, yes. So she's
yeah, yeah. I realize what you meant, Lisa, but I'm trying not to give it life. I'm trying not to give it life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. B said yes, yes, yes. I like that too. That's Beena's writing name. B Sit, a Way-of-Impeccability name. B Sit. Yeah.
Yes.
Because Sit is an abbreviation of her last name. but she put
Yes.
a little extra meaning onto it because one of the books that she read, one of the first books, and it was about Siddhartha. And so there's, to be a Siddhartha, right? This is, as in Siddhartha Gautama. All right, in the book, it's all mixed up, and the Siddhartha character is not Siddhartha Gautama. Most people assume it is, but it's not. Right? Because he sees the Buddha and at a distance, and he follows the Buddha for a while. Siddhartha follows the Buddha. So it's very confused. I don't know if Herman Hesse at the time in his life just didn't quite understand how it all worked there, but doesn't matter. So the Sidd is like, it's like a synonym for aspirant. Yes, Beena?
Yes. Yes. And Siddhartha
And
is someone.
Moreness.
Yes.
Yeah.
This just came by because my friend, one of my friend, he asked me that, okay, what is the meaning of Sidd? And the first time when I did that, it was because I knew that my friend will not be able to pronounce my name, my surname
Yeah.
easily, because
Yeah.
it's a very peculiar
Like
sound.
or something like that.
It's a Siddiqui. So so
Oh.
that's why I just make it short and I said Sid. But my friend says nothing happens with the as an accident, and everything happened as an accident.
Yeah.
So when you choose it, why don't you just go and read the book Siddhartha? And I read that book, and first time I was
Yeah, it
super
came
irritated.
after the fact, not. I mean, Siddhartha came after you said you called yourself Sid, which is fantastic.
Yes, no. Yes, first I call myself Sid, and he
Right,
says that.
right,
And
right.
my friend says that, okay, nothing
There's no
happened.
accident. There's no
Yes,
accident.
there is no accident. So you must read Siddhartha. And then I came to know that there is a book about Siddhartha or named
Yeah.
Siddhartha. I read that book. It's another story, but we do have, because after a few years, Syl actually just provided me this opportunity to do the capital R reading of Siddhartha. And we
We
did.
did it together.
At
Yeah.
that time, it was a completely different experience for me to read Siddhartha. And I shared my capital R reading takeaway on Siddhartha on my Facebook. If because some of my friends were saying that the way you wrote your takeaway after capital R reading Siddhartha, you actually just intrigued us to read it again. Oh, someone was saying that, okay, I read it in my childhood. Someone was saying, okay, I read it in my young age, and okay, it's been years and decades now. But mostly what they were saying actually is that they never get so much value out of it. The way I got some, I cannot say that, okay, the maximum, but I got some value at least with the capital R reading practice.
Oh yeah, it was great. We got a lot of value. Yeah.
No, it doesn't come from Sid. It was my name before that. And then my friends said, okay, oh, do you know about Siddhartha? And I said, no. And then he suggests to read me that book, to read that book for me. So yes, no, it doesn't come from that.
So what's wonderful here is that it's in reverse.
Exactly.
The Sid now has come to take on a connectivity to Siddharthanism, but the complexity of it, both to Siddhartha Gautama as being the name of the person, the historical person who became a Buddha. We'll have to say the Buddha, but that's incorrect. He became a Buddha. There are many others too over the eons, right? Well, anyway, he became a Buddha, and a Buddha is a title. It's not his name. It's a title. It's a type of a being. It's something this is the point of Buddhism, to become a Buddha. So anyway, Siddhartha Gautama became a Buddha. In the book Siddhartha, the Buddha is a separate character. Most people assume that the story is about young Siddhartha becoming the Buddha, but no, he's a separate character. He actually follows the Buddha for a while, and then he leaves the following Buddha because he can't. Basically, in the story of Siddhartha, he does a bit of a Comelius. He sees the opportunity, he joins it, but then he leaves it. It's too much for him. He lets it go. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Very interesting. So that book is a complex book, but it's got a lot of beautiful stuff in it, a lot of nice understandings and monesses. But if you really read that book very carefully, you'll see that the character Siddhartha basically bows out of the spirituality in the end, and he sort of gives up on it. Yes, he goes and he lives with a ferryman, and he lives a simple life, and he thinks he's found it, but he's also saying, another way that he hasn't. So it's a very
Lisa, I
important
just
point.
mentioned you in the comment of my takeaway on Siddhartha. So
Yeah.
if you get any notifications, so please do check that. So
Wow, brilliant,
that
Beena.
was really a good experience to do capital R reading. This is exactly what we are doing now with the Nobelia, the Biella story. And we did that with Siddhartha also. And that was the experience. And I would love, of course, I would say that, okay, do read Syl's comment also into that. It's a long comment, like really huge one in the comments of that post of capital R reading of Siddhartha.
Yeah.
And then we did
Yeah.
offer so for other books also.
Yeah. All right, but now look at that. Look at that big question that Lisa asks there, right? That's that last question she's asking
There,
there.
so please read this.
You're not there? You can't see it?
No, and now I need to go back because I was searching my post on Facebook.
Oh, I see. Lisa asked a really huge question here. She says, where did Sebastian come from? Wow. Very big question you asked. Very big question. All right. So are you ready?
Yes.
This is a big, long, massive, complicated, involved, multi-layered story.
I can understand now.
Right. So once upon a time, there was this young man, right? A young person. Anyway, they got born. And then their parents gave them a name. And the middle name was Sebastian. And that's the end of the story. That's it.
I knew that. I knew that this is where it is going. Actually.
All right. All right. So look at Norma. Oh, Lisa being sarcastic there. So responded with a long comment. No. But there is a bit more. But hang on. There is a bit more to the story.
Once in a blue moon.
But we have to wait. There is a bit more to the story. Right? There's always more, right? If this was Biella, then the group would say, "There's always more." So now, when this young boy got this name, it was Sebastian. Actually, it was Sebastian. Only one A in there. Yes, Sebastian, right? That's like the English way of spelling it, Sebastian, right, Norma? In England, Sebastian is Tion, right? With the Tian is more the German spelling with the E and the IAN, and then I think sometimes, not very often, but I think I've heard it at least pronounced with the A in Spanish, but I've never seen it spelt with all the A's. So how this came about, as a young man, when I was towards the end of my school year or just after, I don't remember the exact time, I met this DJ. He was DJing in the restaurant underneath where we were. A long story. He was a very wild fellow in a way, and he was into all sorts of wonderful stuff. And he was big time into numerology. Right now, at that time, I'm open to anything, right? And I listening with new noble openness, no expectations. Chiro's book of numbers. Oh man, he went on. This is the bomb. This is the it, and he did all the calculations, and he showed me the system that he showed me how to work things out. That I looked later in Chiro's book of numbers because he didn't actually have a copy there, but it was nothing at all to what Chiro said. But I only discovered this many years later when, as a curiosity, I went and looked it up when I was writing my story. At any rate, so he said, "Oh, I come out. My name comes to a 22." And now in Chiro's book of numbers, that would just make you a 4. Yeah. And anyway, 22 was very cool, but 33 was better. 33 was like the bomb. So I'm like, man, I don't like this idea that, that you just your name is so personal to you, why can't you change it? So I fiddled around with the numbers and I said, wow, and by that time I already liked the idea of putting the A, but if I put the A in my name and the other A, then I come to a 33. So I just thought this was very cool. It was like a fun thing that I didn't know. It was just very cool. Yeah. Not knowing the power and the significance of this. I mean, the intent of it was to have a more cool number and to have it to be moreness, and it really worked out that way. Because now Sabastian has 3 A's in it: awareness, attunement, appropriateness. Yeah. The cornerstone of the A+ philosophy. 3 A's, 3 A's. So there is a moreness story. Yeah. There you go. That's how it came about, Lisa. So, and there's even more. All right. So, of course, as I went along, my original name is Leon Sabastian Greef, right? That's how you pronounce it. Beena can say it, but most Americans, of course, can't say the G, and they can't say the ear either, even though they say eerie, and it's the same sound, ear as in eerie, at least the start of eerie. It's the same E sound, but they can't say it, right? So they get grief and gref and God knows what all. Anyway, 33 exactly, which makes me a 6. Now, if you really get into the numbers, I'm actually a 666. My name is a 6, my birth date is a 6, and my birth year is a 6. And in this 33, you see, it comes to a 6. So anyway, so this is how it worked out, at least according to his numbers, but in regular numerology, it comes out as a 6-2. And Beena is 6-2, which is interesting. Anyway, I don't know when
So we
Norma's
should have
birthday is
something else
actually.
in common.
Norma, what day are you born on? Not year, just the day and the month. I'm keen to know because I'm
Yeah.
going to do something in a moment that's related to this. Anyway, so the last part of the story is, so when, of course, you go about, you don't go with your middle name. And I was just, and then, so I never did much about it. Nobody can pronounce my name. It doesn't matter. It was irrelevant. But then when I went and I got really involved with the gaming, and in the gaming, you make a character name. And I played one main game and I made this character. And my first character was an elf, and I wanted an elven name. And this was World of Warcraft. And at that time, 100 million people had already signed up to play World of Warcraft. It's very incredible, right? Now, one thing that they did that was rather interesting is that, and people would sign up, leave, come back, create new characters. Each time you create a character, it's an original name. And they only had one name for you at the time, right? Not multiple names. That only came later. So you were whatever your name was, right? Bigfoot, Crazy Horse, but there was just one name, right? So I looked for an original name that sounded more or less Elvish. And so Sildenada is what I came up with. I also like Carlos Castaneda quite a lot, the author. Well, not him. I don't like the author at all, actually, but I like his character and his story. So I thought, well, Soldineda. I nearly called myself Soldineda, but then I went to Soldinada. I don't know really why, no particular reason. Anyway, so I thought, if somebody recognizes it, maybe they'll say, oh, and then I'll have something to talk about. And nobody ever did, so it was totally a waste of time. But then what happened is I started playing other games. And I said, I'll just keep my name across games. This was before there was gaming platforms like Steam, where now everybody you go into Steam, you make a gaming name, and you may have different names within the games, but you've got your kind of overall gaming character name, right? So I just did that, and then later they came with this idea. Not that I'm claiming any credit to it, but I just thought it was cool to have one name and have it across all the games. Because I would speak to the people on, well, it wasn't Zoom, but it's a similar thing to Zoom, on communications platform, right? Discord it was at the time, or some other, they had all other ones, TeamSpeak, I think it was, a whole bunch of them. So we'd sit and chat all day. And of course, you Syl from Sildenada's too long. Some called me Syl D, some Syl. So I stayed friends with these people, and I came onto Facebook very late. Like at the end of 2014, and I've been playing games for a long time. At that time, when I came onto Facebook, more people knew me as Syl than knew me as Leon, right? So when I came onto Facebook, those are the people that I knew, and they didn't know who the heck Leon was, so I just signed up as Syl Dinada. Actually, I had to break it up. I went, well, Syl Dinada, anyway, because you can't put it as one. Anyway, so then with Syl Dinada, and this is who I was on Facebook, and it wasn't a problem. But then when we published the book, I now had to put my name out in the book, and I don't want to publish it under Leon because it's not a very easily, it's not a name that sticks, in from a writing point of view as an author, it's not a good writer name. So then I didn't want Syl Dinada. It's also a terrible name because I got a lot of people that messaged me in Spanish. And I'm like, this name has nothing to do with being Spanish. They just assumed it was because Dinada, So then I thought, I got to change this. This isn't working. So then for the book, I said, I want some part of my name in there. So I'm going to use Sabastian, and just go Syl Sabastian. And that's how Syl Sabastian came about. So there's the full story of it all, right? I started with a short and ended up with a long. Yeah. So an 11, which month, Norma? Which Lisa says 666. Is Norma born on 666? Yeah, no. I'm teasing both Norma and Lisa. Which month, Norma? 11th of what? I'll show you why I'm asking in a second, because my Rules of Sentience is a project that I deeply want to discuss and go through with all of you at one point. It comes up in the story. I think Biella quotes from it. I think so. I think somewhere she does, but it's very subtle. So I know already if I look up, you see, if I go, all right, we're close to Beena. Yeah, we can look up Beena and June 6th. Now, it will take me a couple of hours to explain this project, but I just did something for fun, which was add these days on, which has nothing to do with a thing. It's just for my own pure fun. But anyway, so June 6th is the day of the visionary, and when we take Beena's year and add it to that, it becomes the day of the revelationary visionary. All right. So then we go to September 14. And we get the day of the perceptive critic. Now, if ever there was something that I feel is what I love about Lisa, it is her perceptive critic. Not in a negative sense. I missed the nada. It was perfect. Like Syl, no problem. Yes, it was, because it is so emblematic of who I am. Like nothing is really ever a problem to me. Right. So you 1107. So your birthday is in like in 5 days time, Norma? Yeah? Or is that the month? All right. Well, we'll look up both. Norma can retain her mystery. I mean, Norma was born a century ago, like Lisa and I, right? Right, Lisa? Actually, Beena was also born a century ago. All right, so we'll look up 11 July. Let's see. July 11. The day of the persuasive present. Oh, no, that's 12. The day of the unsolicited opinion. I love that. Now, you've actually got something to go with your day. Suggestions and advice, like seeds, need a fertile and receptive environment, not to mention appropriate climate and timing. That's the rule of sentience that's associated with your day. This is a long story. I made these rules of sentience and I wanted a way to sort them. And I said, okay, I'll have one for each day. And I just calendar. And then I remembered this, it's called the Book of Days. It's a birthday book, and each day has this, and the guy's language was really cool. It was really cool. So I thought, this will make it fun, and I could see if I could match it. And then I re-scrambled the first 10, 12 of them really matched fantastically. But then I took the rest and I started matching them to the days. So you see, the day of the unsolicited opinion, but the rule of sentience, and these are rules of sentience. Now, rules, here's an oxymoron. One of the rules is that the rules aren't rules. They're more like suggestions and guides. But anyway, it's just for having a nice term. And I'll explain how that comes about in a moment too. So for this, the day of the unsolicited opinion, its suggestions and advice, like seeds, need a fertile and receptive environment, not to mention appropriate climate and timing. So yeah, for those on the stage, yes, you can have an unsolicited opinion, but make sure it's falling on fertile and receptive ground, right? And that it has appropriate climate and timing. So there's no problem with unsolicited opinions when done in this appropriate way that they are shared, right? And then look, these are the alternatives now, since we're about it. And this is saying the same thing in a different way, just for perspective shifting. There is no such thing as a negative seed. Eliminating all the weeds and neglecting the plant makes no sense. That's a different one again. And the third one, a very strong and healthy plant makes weeds somewhat irrelevant. How cool is that? Purely planted seeds have no hope. See, the day of the unsolicited opinion. You can have a seed that you throw on the ground, but if it's poorly planted, it won't grow. But if you pay attention to your unsolicited opinion and you do throw it into fertile ground, doesn't matter whether it's unsolicited, then it's going to grow. Planting seeds is a tricky business, requiring awareness, attention, and appropriateness, 3 A's. So then there's the extended understanding over here, comments pointing out flaws and unwanted perspectives, attitudes, etc. can be effective, but only in the short term and only in isolation. The problem is accumulated association. Repeated use brings with it association. Oh, we'll have to do a capital R reading on this. This will take us a good long while. So key concepts: awareness, appropriateness, positivity, education. How does this rule of sentience make a difference? Positivity is much more effective than negativity. Yes, very much so. All right. So anyway, this is a big project. This is a fun project, something that's on my list of things to do when I've got time and money. So next week, happy birthday for next week, gorgeous Norma. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Lisa is, what do you mean Lisa's 9? Oh, you're the day after me, not the day before. Dang it. I wasn't sure, Lisa. I knew you were one day away from me, but I thought you were the day before. Somebody else that I know very well is the day before, Lisa. So you're the day of the rising tide. No, that's July. No, where are we now? September 16. No, I wasn't guessing. I did thought I'd remembered, but the day of spirited energies also applies to Lisa. So, but look at the saying for you here. Now, this is what I like about this. This is Lisa. Connectedness to the universe is the ultimate joy. Right, Lisa? At least whether or not it connects to you or not, I think this is something that's very appropriate for Lisa. Whether or not that the days of stuff, that's just my fun there. But connectedness to the universe is the ultimate joy. So very cool, very cool. Yeah, I knew we were one day apart, but now you really have me thinking, who's on the 14th? Somebody I know really well is on the 14th. I knew there was some overlap there. So overlap. Very cool, very cool, very cool. It's exciting stuff. Anyway, the rules of sentience has nothing to do with those days. It was merely a convenient mechanism for me to arrange it. And since that's not stuff that's mine and I can't use it, it's copyrighted. When I do publish the rules of sentience, that won't be in there at all. They'll just be the date, but not the day of, just the date. I'll have them spread out on the days, so that it's a calendar thing. And then there may be some that over time, there's some that have 2, but anyway, it can be, or some will have none, so just so that you can stay connected to it. The way this came about, I was watching Star Trek, and it was Deep Space Nine, that series. And in that series, the Ferengi play a very big part, because you got Quark, the barman, and his brother and his brother's son. And so we got to see the Magus, and we got to really see Ferengi culture. They really gave us nice full more on this, right? Because he was such a central character in that series. Whereas in the other series, they didn't have it, right? They were just outsiders and that. And for the Ferengi, they've got the rules of acquisition. And if you listen to the series, you're watching the series, the Ferengi are always, they don't, well, according to rule of acquisition number 47, never do business with your family. You soon to be poor, or whatever it is, right? I don't know what number it is, but there is a rule that says, be careful of doing business with your family. And, so they got, because their whole culture is around doing business and commercial, right? So these traders, business, money's everything, right? Business. So But all these rules are rules for doing business, but it's a cultural thing for them, and it really helps them to live. Now, whoever made these up, but you can go look up the rules of acquisition. They've got a bit of humor in them, but some truth also. But they weren't entirely 100% serious, but they were still valuable though. But then I saw, wow, these Ferengi, even though they're kind of dreadful characters, they're very greedy and avaricious and ambitious and all this, right? It gave them a stability of culture. They gave them something to touch on. They were never lost. They always had the rules of acquisition. Now, whether they listened to the rules of acquisition or remembered them or applied them, that's a different story. That depended, but it actually gave them a cohesiveness to their culture. And even though it's, in a very loose way in the story, it really was there. At least I could see the potential of it. So I thought, wow, why not take this idea really serious and have rules of sentience, because sentient beings, and rather than making it a cultural thing like the rules of acquisition, this is Ferengi culture. Other cultures, they're not so greedy and into money grubbing and, doing over the next guy. I mean, that's part of the cultures, you got to kind of screw over the next guy before he screws you over. That's the whole deal there. Anyway, a superiority paradigm related to money. So I thought, why not have rules of sentience? And the more I got into this, the more I thought about it, the more this idea just grabbed me. And it's a very big deal. And it's a big deal of the Nobelia story in that. Because it does come up there very profoundly. And the new nobility think about these rules of sentience in a very big way. And in my project, though, I made it very particular. I said, I want to have, and I can show you on that spreadsheet, there's the rules of making the rules. That's a long, very sophisticated thing. I think we went through it a bit, right, Beena? You remember, right? It's a very, very big deal. Anyway, so one of the intents of the rules of sentience is to have things that we can utilize, tools, those tools that Norma spoke by. Tools which we can utilize regardless of our personal ideology. So I said these rules must appeal and apply and be useful to the entire range, from Mrs. Taliban to Mr. Hollywood or Mrs. Hollywood, right? The whole range of ideological spectra. Doesn't matter what belief, what religion, what ideology, what criteria, how liberal, how conservative. If, in other words, in all those cultures, all of them are going to agree that as a rule of sentience or as a rule of culture, that honesty is a good quality. Yeah, they all go. It's like, well, there's you're already agreeing on something. Doesn't matter who you believe in. You both believe in honesty. You both believe in integrity, etc., etc., etc. So those are rules of sentience. When you start to work those out and you take away the ideological aspects and you come down to just essential sensibility and statements, and that's one of the rules of making a rule. It has to be a self-evident sensibility. No preaching, no telling. Anyway, so this is the idea with it. And I thought, how wonderful. And then at some point, when I started looking at this, I came across some of the United Nations points. They have their charter, I forget what they call it now. It's actually in that spreadsheet there. But this is sort of a charter that's essentially saying this is what applies to everybody across the world. But I thought, if the United Nations were to, as part of their charter, and there's actually provisions in their charter under some of the aspects, it's all in there, if they were to put this out. In other words, if this was a worldwide thing that all are educated, taught in schools, this non-ideological, you're teaching basic common sensibility of being. It's a rule of sentience, not a rule of ideology, not a rule of culture, but of sentience. Then we'd have a world where no matter who you are in the world, you'd have some connectivity, because you can go, like let's say I go to Pakistan, I go and visit Beena there. All right, I already know Beena. But, Pakistani culture may be very new. We go out into the country to Beena's backwoods cousins, and we go and visit them, and it's like a whole different world out there, right, Beena? Maybe, potentially, right? But if they know about the rules of sentience and I do, I can say, that reminds me, rule of sentience 23, okay. And then I can quote this, and we got something to talk about. And then they'll say, then we have a discussion, right? And It's something that it's a connectivity. We're now speaking the same language. Doesn't matter where you are culturally. Doesn't matter where you are in religion, ideology, etc. You have a common language, which we don't have otherwise. Yes. And I thought this is a profound thing, a really, really profound thing. So anyway, the Rule of Sentience is a project that we will get into at some point. It's a wonderful thing, but it takes a lot to explain. There's a lot more. I'm just touching on the surface of it. There's so much more to it than just that. It's a whole big deal. So anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. I think I'll put Lisa and Norma to sleep already with all this. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So wonderful, wonderful.
Okay,
Yeah,
and then we are
yeah.
already late, so yes.
Yeah. Too wonderful, too wonderful.
Well,
I
there's
understood you, Norma. I understood you. Even when you don't understand yourself, I understand you. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just having fun with Norma. I just love Norma. I just love you, Norma. I just love you, Norma. Yes, Syl, no problem. So it's still my name, Lisa, Syl Dinara, and I'm still called that in the gaming world. So you can say I'm Syl Dinara Sabastian. You can put the Dinara in inverted commas, as a nickname. So Syl Dinara Sabastian. Okay, can be. Or you can say it's Leon Syl Grief. You see, that's how I put it sometimes. Or Leon Syl Sebastian Grief. I put that on some things that I write, and they ask you for your full name. I put Syl in there as my nickname, because really it is, more people call me Syl, more know me as Syl than as Leon. It's kind of unusual when I hear Leon now. I don't even call myself that anymore. I never cared for the name much. This goes to show. All right, you were saying something. You wanted to wrap up there a little bit. Yes, that Rules of Sentience project, it's a deep thing. It's a deep thing. And, I think these lives are preparing for that. Because when I do launch that, and if it does go the way I intended to do, it's going to be a really fully immersive project. And I wanted to have it where, it's a public project where, yes, you've got moderators and curators, but much like Wikipedia, that's measured by people, or like dictionaries. Dictionary is a better example. Look, dictionaries, you've got editors who make up the dictionary, right? Oxford Dictionary, you got the editors or whatever, Merriam, whatever. And they do research, and they say, well, you know what? They mine the things now. Today they've got software to do this, and say these are new words that have come up, and are they sufficiently used to be incorporated into the dictionary? If they are, then they add it to the dictionary, right? Now, I think this is the idea. I would like the Rules of Sentience to be similar, to say, yeah, we start with them. And once a year, there's Ross Day, whatever day that is. And this is a big deal, right? And you have the TV and the media, everybody gets involved, all the schools. And you say, on this day, this is the day we vote on the rules. So there's a couple of different votes. One, you go to the rules and you rank them in order. You can just drag them up and down. Okay, so this one, yes, I think this is number one. Number two, good. No, I think this one should be number one. And then the computer aggregates it. And if there's changes, then the order changes. Right? So that's up for grabs, the order. Now, there's kind of a logic to the order, but that's up for change. Okay, most people will just put the one that means the most to them will be rule number one, right? And so on. So, all right, so that can change. Then secondly, BSID can design the cards. Yes. Then the other thing to vote on is to say, are there any rules, or we just can do one every year, or doesn't matter the number, but still, all right, are there any rules that we feel don't belong in the list anymore, right? So you rule to, you say, nah, you know what, this doesn't apply anymore. That's a 60s thing. It doesn't relate. It doesn't compute. And, yeah, you may, let's say that, for instance, I made this back in the 60s. And I said, being gay is a wonderful thing. Meaning gay as in light, friendly, happy, right? In the meaning of the word as it was for a long time, probably a century or two before that. But now there wouldn't be a appropriate rule of sentience anymore, right? So it's too specific. All right, so then we have to throw it out. All right, so then you say, so now you're voting on what you want to remove if it's no longer relevant. And that's unlikely to be because a lot of thought went in them. But let's just say, for argument's sake, we want to be open, right? Because we want to think longer term. Then the third vote is for new rules to be added. Yeah. Now, this has to have a huge number. It's like in language. You need to have the majority of the population, or at least a significant percentage, using a word before it becomes accepted as part of English, right? It was just some local slang thing. No, it's just in your little bubble. That's the thing that people only say in London and it's nowhere else. No, sorry, it's not part of English, right? The Londoners may disagree, but still. Or at least in Pakistan, they speak English, but there's some words there, or in South Africa, they're not part of English, like lekker. In South Africa, lekker. It sounds like I'm saying lekker, like a lacquer spray, but it's L-E-K-K-E-R. It means nice, yum, delicious, but it also means cool and good. But when you're speaking English there, you would say, oh, that's really lekker. And it's an Afrikaans word, but it's part of English in South Africa. It's part of South African English, but it's not part of English. Anyway, so when we go back to the rules of sentience and the voting, we're looking to really there has to be a high bar for inclusion so that you don't just have this thing running away with itself forever, right? And so this vote on what to include is now a discussion on, and you can propose, anybody can propose a rule, but can you imagine? And these are discussions that will go on over the whole year. And that have gone on, and eventually, maybe somebody's withdrawn it and said, yeah, I didn't really think it through. I see now, okay, it's kind of obvious, or it's already covered by Rule 26 and Rule 428. Okay, forget it, right? And this is about, but think of the discussion from an awareness discernment point of view. We're thinking about what is in fundamental to being sentient, not human, sentient. Yeah. It's a fantastic project, fantastic discussion. It's just a way to unite the world. Yes. Anyway, a lot to that project. All right. Brilliant. All right. On that wonderful note, I love Lisa's suggestion that you can design the cards. Yes. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I like databases. They are important, to be organized. But it is a beautiful project. It is a really, really deep and wonderful project. It is the new Nobility project brought into a practical reality. I mean, there's actually a provision in the United Nations Charter that they say this is what, as you sign that as a charter, this is what you're supposed to do according to that rule. I'll read it to you next time. I'll read you those lines. I have it's all part in the project. It's all there. So there's a lot of moreness involved. Beena, any comments before we go?
No, it's all good now. So yes, we can wrap it up.
Yes, we are. Sorry, I know we went longer there, but it's a big point. It's a deep, important topic to me. I love it. It's a deep love. All right. Any other comments about anything?
No, not right now. So yes.
Okay. I have a question for you though.
Okay.
What is your Zoom image thinking about?
What is your Zoom image?
Your Zoom profile image, yeah. The one I'm seeing there when I see Beena
Yes.
Sidd.
Yeah,
What are you thinking about there?
all those things. Time is a perception of change.
Fantastic. That is exactly the look on Frida's face there. What is this? That's perfect match for that. Perfect. Oh, it's a wonderful question, wonderful answer. I love it, Beena. Absolutely love it. All right. See everybody tomorrow. I just adore this. This is too magical. Yes. Bye-bye, Lisa. Bye-bye, Norma. Bye-bye, everybody else who's listening to this. I hope to see you again.
Okay, bye for
Bye-bye,
now.
bye-bye,
See you guys tomorrow.
Yes. Bye-bye. End
You're going
meeting
to
for all. Yeah, I'm going to end it for all and then I'll start again. Yes. All right.